Welcome to our Facebook Live party. We have our convention director, Jessica Vasquez, and I'm the speaker coordinator, Rachel Aker.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Happy Friday afternoon if you're joining us live. We'll get a chance to have you share and comment so you can invite some of your friends. I'm very, very excited for our Facebook Live today, where we are focusing on our special needs conference that we have within convention. So let us know where you're coming from, and let us know, like and share to come into our giveaways that we have going on through Saturday at 5 p.m. So we're super excited about that. Rachel, I don't know if you have some questions for the audience that we can kind of get some comments on.
So for a chance to win some of our giveaways, you can comment on something that you are looking forward to doing, seeing, experiencing, being a part of at convention this year.
Awesome.
Drop it in the comments what you're looking forward to, and that will give you an entry to win one of our giveaways.
Awesome. So we'll see what some of the comments are coming in while we're doing that. Our convention is 27 days away. So what does that mean? That means you have 1 week exactly from today to register. So make sure you register, because our registration closes May the 17th, which is a week from this live here today. And just for you all, have first news that we have a Mother's Day special going on this weekend where you can save $10 on that. Visit our website for that. But also another special thing going on is that we have released our app this year. So that's really good. Leader Luncheon. Someone just said that they're excited for the Leader Luncheon. Awesome. Yep, that's one of the many things we have going on. Rachel says being part of it for the first time and learning from experts. Yes, Rachel, that was me last year, my first convention. I totally get it. What else are we looking for? We're from Fairfax. Well, Rachel, you don't have far to go, too far. So that's good. That's really good. Young entrepreneurs. Yes, this year we have, give or take, about 19 young entrepreneurs at our exhibit hall. That is amazing. We have so many exciting things at our exhibit hall this year from young entrepreneurs. Oh, Sharon Heath, the children's program. Yes, we love the children's program for ages 5 through 12. You can register for that when you register for convention. Anyone else looking to anything forward to convention this year? Special needs conference. That's what we're talking about today. We have a special needs fair as well, and our used curriculum sale this year as well. For the first time, we are having a table with special needs specific items, an area dedicated just for that. So that's other good news. So again, register for convention. The information is there in the comments where you can register, hav.org/convention. Take advantage of our Mother's Day special. Rachel says, my older son is looking forward to the dissection class. Oh, yeah. Rachel, you can tell us a little bit about that, I'm sure.
That's okay. Apology is coming in and doing a fetal pig dissection for our kids this year, so it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Well, awesome. Is there anything you're looking forward to, Rachel, specifically at convention?
I am really looking forward to the special needs conference this year. I look forward to hearing all the speakers, but this year we have 13 workshops for special needs specific topics to address a variety of needs across the ranges, and we're really looking forward to being able to share all of that with everyone.
Awesome. One of the things that I know about this special needs conference and I'm excited about is that we have Learning RX is our sponsor since I believe 2022 for the special needs conference. And the fact that we get to have a conference just within convention for special needs, it's amazing. And again, I'm looking forward to the special needs resource fair. So we have the overall exhibit hall for convention, but then we have our own fair at the special needs conference on Thursday happening. So you can register for that again by registering for the whole convention, and then you can come to the special needs conference, or you can go and register just for the special needs conference. But I think we want to be there for the entire convention, because there's just so much, like someone said, you just sort of learn so much for the experts, and you have the add-on programs and so many things. On Saturday and Friday we have the leader luncheon, military reception. There are just so many great things, and we'll have to hear from Learning RX as well during this Facebook Live, as well as some of our special guests and keynote speakers for the Special Needs Conference. So anybody else looking forward to anything for a convention, anything specific that we're looking forward to? I know some of our teens, my niece and my son, and my two sons will be attending, and some of the things we're looking forward to are the iElect program, specific teen programs and middle school programs there. So that's pretty cool. We are looking forward to so many things. There's just so much to cover, which is why we have various Facebook Lives. So our Special Needs Conference started a couple of years back, I think, right, Rachel? Maybe about 2 years ago or so, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it's grown so much that now we're just getting bigger and better with the Special Needs Conference. So, Rachel, you mentioned some of the speakers that we were going to have at the conference this year. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of the speakers that we're going to have on there?
Yeah, so we have Learning RX is bringing in Dr. Amy Moore. She's going to be returning to give workshops throughout the convention. And then we also have Peggy Ployhar and Helen Melanie Young will be speaking. And Israel Wayne and Chuck Black will all be speaking. So we have a wonderful lineup of just fantastic. Steve Demme, Andrew Pudwa, Abraham Hamilton are coming. Yeah. And so we have a great lineup.
Okay. Another thing that we have at convention, speaking of Saturday and other days, is we have graduation as well at convention. So that's another big area. That's a very nice ceremony. And we look forward to. And we have so many things to talk about and have at convention that it's hard to go over all of them. But they are just so many things to look forward to. So I heard some people are looking forward to the children's program, the special needs resource fair. What are some of the other things on our comments? Just drop there if you're able to, not if you're driving, to put on there. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to for convention? Anybody else? Also getting more resources to help my kids with special needs. Yes, Rachel. Yes. Definitely. Are there any other resources? Yeah, the youth curriculum sale, special needs resource fair, and at our own conference when we have our keynote speaker, Peggy there, which will be joining us today as well. So that'll be really good. Is there anything else you can share, Rachel, about some of our speakers or our special needs conference regarding anything that we're having? Peggy is the founder of SPED Homeschool that I mentioned earlier. Okay. We're going to introduce right now Dargan, who is with Learning RX. He's going to be joining us and giving us some information and as to why he's coming to us and if he's been with us, which he has, and he can tell you about that. Welcome, Dargan. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Jessica. Learning RX was sponsored, I think, the inaugural Special Needs Conference several years ago. And we had such an overwhelming response, a show of appreciation, that we stepped up again last year. And Dr. Amy Moore was the keynote speaker. And again, the feedback was so great for us being there that on behalf of the Virginia Learning RX Centers, we have sponsored it for a third time in a row. And of all the things that we do in our annual calendar, I represent probably 7 centers across the state of Virginia. And all of the staff and the owners and those centers talk about this event, this 3-day event, the convention itself, but most importantly, the special needs conference. And it's heartwarming to us to come to share what we've learned over, working with hundreds of thousands of students over the last 25 years and thousands of Virginia homeschool students, and provide hope that you're not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself. There are resources and methodologies that can make you a successful home educator of a child with learning struggles. And yeah, it's just so enlightening to us and warming that we can empower home educators and give them the tools, give their kids the skills to do what they're called to do. And so, yeah.
Right. Ann Miller says, we appreciate all you do to meet the needs of homeschool families. She said hi, Dargan, before that. Definitely.
Yeah. So, we will, Dr. Amy Moore is coming back. We have 3 workshops on the schedule. 2 of those workshops Dr. Moore is giving, and those tend to be standing room only. So I would encourage anyone to highlight that in their program and make sure they get to the room with adequate time. But the 7 Learning RX centers will actually be doing a workshop where we demystify what brain training is, what cognitive training is, which is what we provide for the homeschool community. We work one-on-one with children who are struggling due to processing deficits. 80% of all learning struggles are rooted in weak cognitive skills. Okay. Things like working memory, attention, auditory processing, visualization. That is at the core of why kids are not able to access typical curriculum. And so we have tools and techniques with how we train and strengthen those so they can access the curriculum and content their home education parent is exposing them to and learn and demonstrate. And so we're actually, for the first time, going to do a workshop where we demonstrate the tools and techniques, and we're having overhead camera and we're showing in detail our tools and methodologies so that we can hopefully demystify what brain training is. Awesome. So we're really excited about that.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Well, you mentioned, Dargan, to come early, and I know we were talking just a little while ago about how crowded our special needs rooms were last year and how many people crowded into a room, how many had to come back for the audio MP3s. So we took all of that feedback last year, the operations coordinator and the director and the president and others involved, and reorganized all of our rooms for the entire convention to have larger rooms for our special needs conference so that we can accommodate a lot more people this year who are looking for information, to demystify some of those things, to learn for some of those resources that you all are providing.
Yeah. And we'll have a double booth in the main convention hall.
Right.
If we'll have HEAVE moms at the booth who've experienced this. We'll have Dr. Amy Moore. We'll have trainers that are actually working one-on-one with kids who want to walk up and volunteer and feel what this is like. So you just can't connect with people like we can connect at the HEAVE convention. You just don't get that opportunity. So right. I'm very thankful to have been asked to come back again. I wish you guys well in the registration part, and we'll see you at convention in how many days did you say, Jessica?
27.
27 days. So anyone on this call, I would encourage you, if you haven't registered yet, it's going to be closing soon. And
yes,
I would register. And yeah, thank you guys for doing what you do for the homeschool community.
Well, awesome. Thank you for making it possible.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, thanks to you. You know, one of our great sponsors, we're able to keep our prices at the same level for our attendees. So thank you so much wholeheartedly from HAV to you and your team. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for being on here. Wow, that was awesome. That was really, really, really good. Very inspiring. What he mentioned there'll be like the exhibit hall as well. And he mentioned, you know, that's what I did last year. I printed out the schedule and I highlighted everything, but now we've got our app. So again, make sure you go. When I was on site, I was picking my favorites to kind of help me schedule. where I was going to be attending. So again, take advantage of the app. You can just download it from your phone. Check out our website for more information on that. It also will be at the comments section as well. So very exciting. That was super, super good. I was so happy he was able to be here with us. So
if anyone is just joining in now, you missed the beginning, you have a chance to win free giveaway items. If you comment or share this video, you can comment, what are you looking forward to at convention? And possibly even where you're tuning in from. And then one of our giveaways are these really cool multiplication or addition fidget poppers.
Yes.
That is one of our giveaways that you can win. And the drawing is open through 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes. Yep. So continue to comment and share and like it. If you see Rachel and I looking over at our screens, that's because we're cheating and looking at our notes so we can tell you all the wonderful information that we have to give to you. So again, Mother's Day special. Speaking of the weekend, Mother's Day is Sunday. So hint, hint, if you've gotta make any last minute cards or notes for the babies, older or younger, listening out there, we have a Mother's Day special. You can save up to $10, not up to. And then if you have the refer a friend, if you refer a friend, that person saves $5, and then you save an extra $5. So make sure you take advantage of our Mother's Day special and the referring a friend. The referring a friend goes throughout. Enter to win a 3-month access to all the edible knowledge. Perfect for a summer breakout. That gives you access 49 courses, including the full edible knowledge for the Curious Cook series. Wow. That's pretty neat. That's another giveaway. We have some cool giveaways. Can we enter those, Rachel?
Right. So comment and share for these really great giveaways.
Yeah. So. We didn't talk about much, but Rachel and I are current homeschoolers as well, just like many of you listening. And so that's why I'm like, can we enter? Okay, Emily, it's been years since I have been. Looking forward to some encouragement. Yes, Emily.
Welcome back.
Yes. We're laughing at curriculum doctors. Yes, the curriculum doctors will be back. Yes, looking forward to seeing them. Yes, you can find them at our exhibit hall. They will be back with us as well. We talked about the giveaways. We talked about the math giveaway, the Mother's Day special, and then we want to talk about. Are we ready to talk about our keynote?
I hope so.
I hope so. I know I'm ready to talk about her. Let's see.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Oh, it's a good day.
It's a good day. Yes, ma'am. We want to thank you.
I'm excited to join you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here and fitting us in your very, very tight schedule. I know you just came off of recording a podcast. Thank you for giving us time Friday afternoon.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm in a different state than I normally am, just for the day.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, Peggy, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone who may not be familiar with you and SPED?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Peggy Ployhar. I'm the founder and CEO of SPED Homeschool, which started in 2017. I actually worked for 2 different state organizations as their special needs consultant before founding SPED Homeschool. So I worked for MACHE, the Minnesota Association of Christian Home Educators, and then was the special needs consultant for the Texas Homeschool Coalition. And I found that as I was helping parents who were maybe just a couple steps behind me, because I homeschooled my kids for 19 years, which started from my oldest son kind of being kicked out of school and being diagnosed on the spectrum, that I had maybe a little more experience. But as I was working with parents, I'm like, I can help them get started, but I have nowhere to send them. Right. And so SPED Homeschool is kind of that resource I wish I always had. And so it's a collection of just lots of good advice, resources for parents who are looking, how do I do this? Can I be encouraged in this? Have other people done this before? And have they lived through to tell the end of the story? So yes, that's what we're all about.
Well, that is so important. There's such a huge need for special education support in the homeschool world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm really thankful that you and others provide so much help and encouragement. And we're so excited that you're coming to talk more about this in just 27 days.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You're making me feel nervous.
So we'll receive any comments from the audience. If you have any special needs children, let us know what questions you may have for Peggy while we have her on here. I mean, this is a good time
Absolutely.
to ask her. We'll be looking out for those. But Peggy, if I heard you correctly, you said that you had a situation with your own child and special needs and school. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Sure. So I was ready to go back to my career after my boys went to Christian school because I was like, I'm not cut out for this. It was so funny because I was invited to a homeschool conference when my boys were preschoolers by some very well-meaning people in my church, and they were probably saying, why are we inviting her? But they were obedient. Okay. And I got to this conference and I sat through it, and I came home and I said to my husband, I'm like, those are not my people. and lo and behold, they have become my people. But
look at you now.
Yes, exactly.
Now you're our keynote at our special needs conference at 2024 HAB convention.
Yes, and so funny. I did actually go back and speak at that conference in Oregon, and I thought this is just like how God would just like laugh at this, and just say, "Yeah, you thought."
Yes, exactly.
Well, like Jessica mentioned, you are giving our keynote for our special needs conference on Thursday.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about what you're going to be bringing to our families?
So the thing that God has gifted me and when I speak is encouragement. And I share a lot of stories. I always say, when God asks you to be a speaker, an encouraging speaker, beware. He's going to drag you through the mud. So you have lots of good stories to share. And so I've got stories and we're going to bring those in, but we're also going to bring that, Jesus is our rock. He's our foundation. And oftentimes when we homeschool, we put our feet in sinking sand and not in the right place. And so I'm going to just be getting us back to, what's most important. And are we placing everything we do on the sure foundation of our God and the calling that he's given us and the uniqueness of our kids that he has given us to embrace. And so that we can go ahead into the summer as we plan and go ahead into the years ahead and know that we are being faithful because you do not know what the next year, the next 5 years, next 10 years hold with your child, but you have today. And that's what's most important. We need to be faithful in today. And so I'm going to be speaking a lot on that and just sharing, the hope that we have and the joy that we have when we live that way versus, always looking for a way to fix our child, which I think oftentimes we get in that mode and we forget that we have so much to be thankful for and to just embrace that.
Right. Awesome. Peggy, that's so awesome because I did see a lot of comments on here saying that they're most looking forward to encouragement. Jessica says autism diagnosis, math is tough for us. I get down on myself so much. We both get frustrated. That's the comments from.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's a growth process for you, Mom, as well as your child. This is a refining process, definitely on both sides. But just look at it as a learning opportunity, and then also I found when the child that I struggled with most in math, if I would put it in the context that he was happiest being in. So this was my child who donned the superhero cape every day. And so I made every math problem about superheroes. And he actually did math and loved it. It took a little bit of work on my end. And I'm going to be, so I'll talk a little bit about in some of my talks, especially my Charlotte Mason one on Saturday, on just different ways you can approach teaching from more of a creative side and kind of delving into that natural learning inclinations your kids have. Because when you do that, the work that you do in the front end is actually makes life easier on the back end and takes away those struggles with your kids too. But yeah, our kids are just a little more unique. And so we have to be a little more flexible.
Emily says dyslexia is tough in her house.
Yes. Yeah. And my middle one struggles with dyslexia. And you know what? We just kept plodding forward. And like I tell you, I've got stories. We didn't actually realize he had dyslexia till 16 because I was so focused on my other one that had autism. And I beat myself up for that for a long time, and then realized, you know what? God lets you know this that now. Do with it what you can now. And he actually came up with his own way to work around it. And he said, Mom, you know what? I could watch those foreign films for 3 hours and read all the text on the bottom. Fine. And then we realized he has to put text with images. And because if he doesn't, he can't read. So, God will provide even when you can't. We just have to realize he's faithful and not get so upset that you didn't do it the right way, because it just wasn't meant to be if God didn't give you that information when you thought you needed it.
Wow, Peggy.
Oh, Anne wants to know about my talk, Flipping Special Education Homeschooling.
Yes.
Okay, so I love this talk. You know how house flippers? I love to watch those shows, and so actually, my daughter and I were watching one on kitchens the other day. But special education tends to be one of these things that we think is the right way to go. And I kind of debunk that. I take you through the history of special education, how it was actually created. And it was interesting. One of the first times I gave this talk, one of the homeschool families that it was a conference in way Western Texas, but one of the conference organizers, her husband was a school superintendent, and he sat in the back and nodded the entire hour, just about how we think this system was set up so idyllically, and it's not. It was set up on policies and procedures and reporting, and it was not set up on the child outcome at all. And now they make it look like we're doing good for the child, but that's because the educators are trying to jump through hoops enough to appease the way the system was first set up. And then how do we flip this idea in our mind to what really education is, and individualized education for a student and their unique needs? So it'll kind of tear apart a lot of the things that we think the experts know, and that the expert way of doing things, so that you just have the freedom to homeschool and not be putting yourself down that you aren't doing it like you should be doing.
Yeah. Wow. Peggy, you mentioned the story about the 16-year-old when your son was 16, you once when you noticed the dyslexia, and I was saying that that's so encouraging to everyone listening right now, I think, because as homeschool moms, we do feel that way a lot of times, like, oh my gosh, I know that's how I felt last year, and which is why I went to convention. I felt like I had missed the mark, and then this year I went to convention. I was so inspired. If you don't mind sharing, if you can, I don't know how old that child is now, but if you kind of share how he's doing now and after that inspiration.
That's an interesting question. He's going through a lot of mental health challenges, unfortunately, right now, and it's not well. It's taken a deep dive in our family, and someday I hope to be able to share more about that. It's just very raw and personal right now. But we just, but it does bring up a point that I do want to bring up, is we can do everything that we think our child needs to launch them perfectly, and then something tragic happens. And we don't know when that's coming or if it's coming, but are we being faithful in each day so that we don't say, man, I wish I wouldn't focus so much on that. I wish I would have had more time in focusing on my relationship with my child, the important things. We can't lose sight of that, because now the things that we're going through in our home, they're scary, they're raw, they're not so fun. But yet I look back and say, you know what, but we laid a solid, firm foundation. And God will see us through this, and he'll see him through it too. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for your transparency, because I know we were talking a little bit before we went online, and even the encouragement part. That's what we need, and that's what we're here for. So thank you for still
Yeah.
serving, right? Even though you're
Yes.
walking through this right now, know that I think you know that the speaker committee team and all of us are praying for you and all of our speakers. So thank you for your faith and continuing to be transparent. I think most of all, and it's real and raw, like you mentioned. So I do appreciate that very much. There's testimony in that, like you said, even that little bit of how he found out he could read with the text along with the text. So that is definitely. Thank you for sharing. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to at convention this year, the Special Needs Conference with HAV?
Yeah, well, I've never been to your conference, so I'm excited for that. And just I haven't spoke at a homeschool conference since last year. This will be my first one this year. I've got others to follow, but it's always just so nice to get back, talking face to face with parents, and just encouraging, listening. Everybody's got a story that needs to be heard too, not just mine. And so it's nice to just allow people to share and to talk and to and just to see the connections that happen. I think that's what most encourages me is, you see those parents and they're like, oh, I've seen you in like 2 or 3 other of my sessions. And then they start talking to each other. And that's where those relationships are formed. Those are your people that will probably support you in your homeschooling for years to come. I think I said one time, it's like you're dating while you're going to the homeschool conferences. Look for those other parents that have like the same track that you're following and going, oh, we've got this. We're at the same mindset. Well, let's meet up and have some coffee.
Definitely. Peggy did our homeschool. Okay, you did our virtual event in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were able to join us for that one, our virtual event. So it'll be the first time.
Yes, I was recovering from breast cancer and came to that with my daughter. Yes.
Jessica says prayers for you and your family. May God restore you and bless you. Jessica,
thank you.
Rachel,
prayers are better.
Yes, praying for you and your family during this time. Rachel is saying.
Thank you.
The Rachel online. The Rachel that's visiting.
Jessica has a comment. My son's ABA therapist was a PS teacher, public school teacher for 20 years. And she was not to see her son as behind. How can she see that homeschooling is different and that we believe God is working in him by walking through faith?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of people that, in any field, they're so convinced by what they've been taught as far as knowledge, and to get out of that mindset, to realize that their way may not always be the right way.
It's okay. Yeah, take a drink of water. Yeah, we're having real life moments here. My son just came in and asked a question. I had to mute it. I'm like, I'm on a Facebook Live. He's still asking questions. I'm like, honey.
Yeah. It happens. So, but just keep praying that God changes their heart, or at least allows, that realization that you're doing what you know is best, and don't and if it gets to a point where they're just always coming against you, then maybe you need to look for somebody else. That's the advice we usually give is, you want people who are on your side, that are team players, not people who are always questioning and second guessing you, because when they see something that maybe they see as extreme, they'll try to report you too. That's unfortunately the reality within our homeschooling realm, is that we do deal with a lot more professionals, and you want people on your side that are helping you, not working against you.
Right. Yes, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Peggy. Keep your questions coming.
Yes, coughing and all.
Yeah. Coughing, interruptions. Yes, we're keeping it real here at HAV. Yes, and
So Peggy, as maybe families who are starting to homeschool and maybe they're new to homeschooling, maybe they've been homeschooling for a while and they just feel like there's a brick wall in their home education, or there's a lot of frustration and they're starting to wonder, am I dealing with special needs? Is this something special? Is this stubborn? Is this relational? How do you navigate some of those walls that you come up with?
Yeah, that's a good question. Definitely, it could be all of the above or none of the above. And so it takes a little detective work as a parent. Do they still like learning things that they like? Or has learning completely shut down? Or is it just one subject that they're struggling in? Could the curriculum be too difficult for them? Take a step back, take some time off, try a different curriculum in place of it. Do a lot of experimenting before you go to the jump. There's something wrong with my child. Because a lot of times those variables will allow you to see what actually is going on. And sometimes kids just need a break, or they're just, not able to keep the pace that the curriculum is set at. I remember the first time I said at a homeschool conference that you could use that curriculum for 2, maybe 3 years, and I got a gasp. It'll save you a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. But some kids just, they don't learn as fast as others, or as fast as the curriculum developer created that curriculum for. So yeah, you've got to just try a lot of things out, and sometimes they just need a break. Sometimes when we see a child is behind, we want to catch them up. And I've heard from enough people that there just is no catching up to what that norm is. Your child's going to go at their own pace. You might as well enjoy the ride, and then just go. And then if they need a break, take a break, because eventually they will catch up on that. It just might be 5 years behind all of their peers that they're going to do that. And then I have a story of my son, my oldest. At 12, he still wasn't reading, but I didn't let that stop him. I just said, okay, well, we're just going to keep going through the mechanics. I see that there's just something not connecting here. I used tons of different curriculums. We tried everything, but I didn't push it more than 10 minutes a day, because that's all he could handle. He would shut down otherwise. But we were doing mechanical engineering at the same time, because that's what he enjoyed. And we had to do testing because we lived in Minnesota at that point. And so every year I knew where his reading was at. He was a non-reader. And then the next year we tested and he was reading at college level.
Wow.
It's because he just needed that time. I gave him tons of audiobooks. We practiced, telling stories. So I was working on all those language skills, but not through writing and reading, and in the typical way. But yeah, that's all he needed. So yeah.
Wow. Now that is an amazing story. And speaking of out of the box, it says, mom of a now grown, always homeschooled dyslexic son who is an engineer at NASA. It was tough and we had to go outside the box, but it was so worth it. Wow. What incredible story.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It is a tough go, and you need people around you who will say, don't give up. That community that will support you instead of, yeah, just put them back in the school. You can just take some time off, and you shouldn't have to do this. If you're in it to homeschool, put people around you that will encourage you to stay homeschooling,
Right.
and just rally around you when you need it. And then you can rally around them when they need it, because we all do.
Right. And that goes back
Gift of Dyslexia.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a game changer for us too. Yes, love that book. Yep.
Speaking of that book, and earlier Rachel posed a good question, like how do you know if your child, and you had mentioned it, maybe all of them or none of them. I saw something where my son had written something and his letters were a little bit messed up, and I'm like, okay, well, he's way past what the public school system told me was like, at first grade was okay. I'm like, he's a few grades above that. Should I be concerned? And I spoke to someone with an HEAV, and they actually recommended that book. And then turns out I did some of the tests. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not what I was thinking. But it's funny we're talking about that book because that was what we used as well to kind of reference and refer to.
Yeah, those visual thinkers, though, man, they can do a lot. It's just they can't read. At least read like we wish they could.
Yeah. So for everybody listening out there, be encouraged. Everything that Peggy is saying. Just be encouraged. I think that's what I'm hearing. Rachel in our audience has a comment as well. We started homeschooling in January. My older son was doing virtual 9th grade, and my younger was very behind. And I just wanted to get him solid foundations. He's 12, and we found out Mia Academy, and he can finally do things that kindergartens can do and tell me more Bible stories. He now wants to learn more. Homeschooling in this short time has been very helpful to get both boys' confidence up. Well, good job, Rachel. So you've been homeschooling since January, it sounds like she is. Wow.
Well, and that's a good point that Rachel makes too, is the confidence.
Yeah.
A lot of times kids who struggle, that's the first thing they lose, and they start to shut down, and their learning will start to shut down, and it then becomes a mental health issue. And when you're struggling with that, there's no learning that happens. And so a lot of times when we bring these kids home, we don't just want to dive directly into teaching them. You want to dive into finding ways to encourage them that they can learn again. Because once you do that, they will naturally seek out things to learn. I mean, we're wired to do that. But unfortunately, the school system is set up to destroy that in a lot of children, especially those that don't learn in the typical fashion.
And we've talked about how then your child excel. One of the things that I'd like to ask you, Peggy, about is what about if anyone's listening saying, hey, well, actually, my issue is my child wasn't being encouraged enough in the schooling that he was getting. What do you have to say to those parents, and how do you encourage them, and any resources, if they're considered to be, if you will, higher than grade level in the regular school system?
Okay, so in the gifted, talented kind of thing. So my daughter fell into that range, and too often we're tempted to put them up to the next grade level, but they are mentally and socially not able to take that a lot of times. So what I did is I started adding in extra classes for her. And we explored so much. Actually, she had enough credits in high school to have 2 diplomas. Wow. I had to ask her to pick what she wanted on her diploma at the end, because she had no idea what she wanted to do. And I was like, well, we're just going to keep schooling until you figure that out. But you want to broaden them. You don't want to just shoot them up and out of your house. And so give them those experiences that really teach them what they're good at, what they love, because then you're going to better equip them for life further on. I know Dr. Kathy Cook talks about how kids that are graduating now, and this was one thing at that virtual conference in 2020, my daughter was on her panel as she had come with me, and she directly said to all of these teens that had come with their parents to speak that didn't want to be on stage, at least my daughter didn't, that they would have possibly 5 to 7 careers in their lifetime. And so teaching your child how they're wired to learn, what they love to do, is so much more important than getting them skills in a specific area anymore, because they are going to need to reinvent themselves. And so we need to change how we focus on education, because I mean, just looking in my life, I've changed my career, 4 times already? And I'm probably above the average for 50-year-olds, but, but still, it's crazy. And we need to prepare them for that.
Wow.
And we have the freedom to do that when we're homeschooling.
Yes.
And just to be able to switch gears and allow them to learn at their strengths. So that's very encouraging, Peggy. Thank you.
Right. And speaking of freedom, actually is our theme for this year, freedom in homeschooling.
Yes.
So Rachel, I don't know if you worked that in purposely or not. It fits. So freedom in homeschooling is our theme this year. So all of this fits right in, and is actually, perfect. So yeah. Thank you for that for that advice there. I want to take a minute to remind the audience, because we have all those great giveaways, and I know we haven't verbally mentioned all of them, but they are in our comment section. We do have a lot of giveaways. You comment, share, like, and you'll be entered in many of our wonderful giveaways that will go through Saturday, 5 p.m. tomorrow, May 11th. So enter to win the giveaways by 5 p.m. Oh, Sunday, actually. Excuse me, Sunday, Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Right, which corresponds with our Mother's Day special.
Yes.
So you sign up for convention, you get $10 off.
Yep. And then you have the Refer a Friend program. So then you can add an additional $5 for yourself and $5 for a friend if you refer a friend. So find out more information about that on our app, which is also another news flash for today, that we have our app that has launched. So that is amazing. Any questions specifically from the audience for Peggy that we have on here today? HAB has definitely also been a game changer. So thank you all for all you do. Oh, Rachel. Thank you. Rachel, you should join our team. CJ says yes, so much freedom to teach them on their level. Yes, exactly. Yep, exactly what Peggy has been talking about. Peggy, when you were talking about your daughter and adding the programs, inquiring minds would like to know.
What did she have credits in, huh?
Well, no. How do we handle, in a family of multiples, if you have more than one child, if you have a child who's not on the same spectrum, they're saying, that's not quite fair. Or actually that quote unquote gifted child, for lack of a better term that we just used, is saying, well, I'm having all this extra work to do. And when you're going through the process, what advice would you have for anyone
I think my kids heard many times, life is not fair. I had different graduation requirements for every child.
Right.
Yes, it may be a private school, but it's a private school and a classroom of one. So yeah, it's just the way it is. I mean, you have discussions with your children too. And I always said, I'm helping you prepare for your future. So what is your future going to require? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, especially even as they get older too, it's like, well, what do you think you're going to want to have? What kind of training do you want? Should it be on your diploma or not? And then is your diploma going to be acceptable by anybody other than me? As far as going to like a college or a trade school or whatever. My oldest actually chose not to even get diagnosed again when he went to college. He didn't want accommodations. He actually graduated with honors without them. But that was his choice. And so then he went through that process. There was a couple times where some professors were a little judgmental of how he handled things. And I said, okay, well, you chose not to do this. So we walked through the process of how do you, get that grade changed by going to the superintendent or the dean of the college. Right. And, always they're ready to help, but these are their choices. My middle one said, I don't care to go to school. I don't care what's on I just want to learn some skills. Okay, well, then we're going to work on some skills, and no college in their right mind is going to take your diploma or at least your transcript. They're going to say you have to really start over. And then, my daughter, it was, let's pick and choose what you've learned that would be useful in this scenario. And now she's just finishing her first year of college. And so, but they're also unique. And so you just have to, when you start treating them in that context, then they realize, oh, you're valuing who I am, right, instead of let's compare ourselves to one another. Right. And I think that's a good way to embrace it versus it's them versus me.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. I know I've gotten a lot out of our talk today. I hope our audience has as well. Fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
The Mother's Day special runs through Monday. So we've actually changed through Monday. Sorry, save $10 on your convention registration. So the Mother's Day special runs through Monday. And then save dollars on your convention registration. But registration closes May the 17th, Friday. May the 17th. So for a recap on all the dates and times and deadlines, just refer to the comment section. That would be your best bet. Mother's Day is Sunday. I do know that. And the Mother's Day special does run through Monday. And then our refer a friend goes all the way through the end of registration on May the 17th. And then I feel like and then the giveaway is happening this weekend. So, and I think one of them is a Museum of the Bible giveaway as well. So there's just so many. I'm looking here again at my cheat sheet. Free registration to Museum of the Bible's Dig Deeper Educator Conference on July 26th to 28th, which is a $120 value. So that is an awesome giveaway there. Awesome giveaway. Peggy, anything you want to share with the audience as to maybe, why they should come to the special needs conference, or just anything that's on your heart to share with them here before our time is up?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we can get into our mind that, oh, you know what, this is just too much work to get myself there, to arrange everything. But I promise you, when you start connecting with community, God made us for community. He made us so that we could be surrounded by others, that we could be encouraged. Yes, it's nice to get it online. It's nice to get it on videos, but there's something about another person sitting next to you that is in agreement. And then a whole room full of people that are in the same position as you are. You're able to leave and to have the fuel that you need to go that next year ahead. So, yeah.
Awesome. I do want to mention again that, like Peggy's saying, we have community. So you have the wonderful speakers specifically at the conference and convention. We also have our special needs resource fair, which our special needs conference sponsor will be there. Learning RX will be there with a table. Play and Talk, Creating Adventures, Beakers and Bricks, Edible Knowledge, Right Start Math. So again, to learn more, go to the website that's on the comments section there. And because of our sponsors, again, we're able to keep our prices the same as last year. And we all know all prices are going up. Rachel, do you want to remind people about our app as well?
Yes, our app is going live. And so you can download your app on your phone and be able to see real time when your time of your workshop is and your speaker and where it's supposed to be. You can put a little heart on it, so it brings up a reminder to you to get over to there in time to get a seat. And so it is very convenient just to have that on your phone.
Yeah. So again, only 27 days left to convention and 1 week from the time of this live to register online and get the deal for the Mother's Day special and refer a friend. Peggy, we just want to thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes.
Thank you for your testimony and being very transparent. That's why you're here. HAB loves you. So thank you so much. And as I said, we're praying for you and your family. And thank you for being such an inspiration. And we look forward to having you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Awesome. What an awesome time with our guest today, Rachel. Wasn't that fun?
That was really helpful. So encouraging. Yep.
Yep. It was very encouraging to any homeschool moms and dads out there. We do want to shout out to our dads. We do have overall convention. We have specific a conversation with dad workshop for dads, and we have a lot of specific things for dads. So it's not just for homeschool moms or dads. Grandparents of homeschoolers get to come for free as well. We have a lot of information, a lot of incentives for you all to come and get encouraged. So check out our website, hab.org/convention for more information on that. And again, you can register for the convention, automatically go into our special needs conference, or if you are like, I can only do Thursday because of work and I'm just interested in special needs, and you can sign up for that as well. But yeah, Rachel, did you have anything else? Or
Right. So our special needs conference is on Thursday, but we do have other workshops sprinkled throughout Friday and Saturday, which touch on special needs topics as well. So,
yep. Yeah, and you can look on the app for all those. I mean, there are many. If you haven't been to HAB convention before, there are too many to name all of our workshops. So again, that's on our website and on our app. And you'll need time to kind of pick which ones you want to go through and prioritize, because there's so many great topics and richness in there. But we look forward to seeing you. Remember, May 17th is the last day to register. We have the Mother's Day special going on through Monday. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers all the mothers out there, and save $10 with that special. And still you can do the refer a friend up into the 17, the $5 off for you and $5 off for the friend. So thank you all for joining us. Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And we hope that you've enjoyed your time. We'll see you later. Bye.